even the way in which we grasp or appropriate this knowledge is not the way in which we, in a modernist frame, imagine what knowledge is and how we appropriate it. I don't know if that makes any sense. Because I think, when I look at
it's not just information. It's not just, you can't just get it from accumulating information. There's a change that happens. It has to happen like a conversion, we could say, in a small C conversion that needs to happen, or else people will think, and you've seen it, like some people are saying, oh, it's all gibberish. What they're saying is just a bunch of gibberish because they listen, they hear, but they don't, because they can't see what it is that you have to change your worldview, basically, to really understand it. And that's not a mental process. It's something which is actually precedes mental processes. It's like a insight and intuition. It's I don't know. Yeah.
It's a vision.
Yeah.
And I think, so, when I listen to these conversations, I always try to see if I can translate it into terms that people who maybe didn't go to college, or, the kind of people that I preach to on a regular basis in church. The video I just put out this morning, I've been looking at Oliver Sacks's work, and he had a really lovely chapter on the simple. And the simple are those who can't do abstraction, but they very clearly live in the world of the concrete. And I was struck in listening to that chapter in his book, The Man Who Mistook his wife for a hat. There's a level here of practicality. And so okay, I look at this and I hear, someone like Nate up in the UK saying, oh, this is just gibberish. And I talked to him on Twitter a little bit and I probably will talk to him again about it. But I think still in sort of a modernist worldview, people look at this conversation and think, well, this will help me get what I want, instead of understanding that this will change what you want.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great way to say it.
This will change what you think is good, what you think is beautiful, and what you think is true. And it's actually at that level of transformation that we do need to be changed. And I think part of what's powerful in, let's say, having these conversations with John Vervaeke, with Jordan, and with, let's say, David Fuller, is that in some ways, because these individuals are on the different side of the Christian line, let's say, in some ways, that I think for the church, where I come at this thing is, as a preacher, intelligibility is key. And what's been happening for the last 200 years in a lot of ways is that we've seen the church accommodating to modernity and trying to do that translation through it. And now I think we're beginning to see it from the other side, where there's at least been enough of a sea change that the church can point to things that are not modern. They might be older than modernity, and they include things that are now coming after modernity, but the church can begin to make intelligible. For me, it's making the Bible intelligible again, actually, because that's my main job as a preacher, to make the Bible intelligible. And the more the deeper I got into Lewis, let's say, and part of the reason his book Miracles has been, to be quite honest, I remember seeing Jordan Peterson, and I'd seeing something there that was in the biblical series, and then in his classroom lectures, I said, wow, this is really helpful, because I'd been reading C.S. Lewis's book Miracles like 2-3 times a year for a couple of years.
Wow.
Just to sort of combat modernity in me, because I just felt myself increasingly becoming a reductionist modernist. And I knew, part of me knew in my formation, that this was untenable. This doesn't fundamentally work. And so then when I was listening to Jordan, I was connecting it with some of what Lewis was saying in that book, Miracles. And I thought, boy, Jordan should really read this book. And then I thought I could send him the book, but that's pointless. So then I thought what I really have to do is, I shouldn't really worry so much about Jordan, but I should address his audience. And so that's really how this thing got started for me.